Hey everybody, welcome to Northern Thailand and welcome to Worm Bin Weekends Week 12. Now in Week 11, as you guys saw with Bin 1, the bin was very wet. In fact, it was so wet that I unfortunately had to make the decision to once again add bedding. And the reason for that is because a few comments were made by some of my subscribers that was dead on in the way of if that hardens up in the condition that it's currently in, it's gonna become like a brick, and they were absolutely right. And so I made the decision to go ahead and add some bedding, and one of the things I noticed as I was adding the bedding is it was starting to clump up, which with it being that wet is naturally gonna happen. It's gonna clump up like that because now you're adding bedding and it's binding it. So now you got these little balls of, castings mixed with corrugated cardboard, and it's not really it's not good material. So that, coupled with the unfortunate fact that our winter season has started here, and winter for us means that the evenings are starting to drop down into the 50s Fahrenheit, I had to make the decision that I can't harvest the castings yet. It's not going to work. The worms are going to become very, very sluggish and slow. They're going to become more and more inactive as it gets cooler, and my main concern right now is to keep them safe. They're not going to be processing food as quickly because of the cold, and so the lids are back on the bins, and I'm just going to have to make it through the winter season here and get them back into warmer weather so that I can get them to process what's in the bins currently and what they're going to be getting, as time goes on, and we'll have to harvest the castings hopefully in the spring. But one of the other things I did, specifically for bin 1, and that I may eventually do depending on how bins 2 and 3 look, is I took full pieces of cardboard from a large pizza box and I cut it in half and I put it underneath all of the bedding material and all the castings in the bottom of the bin. Now my hope with that is that it adds an extra layer of insulation and also helps to possibly absorb some of that moisture that was in bin 1. Did it work? Are the worms happy? Are all the worms happy? How do things look? That was back on the 29th of November, and now it's Saturday, December 4th. I want to apologize for the late start this weekend, but I was out of town. Haven't looked at the worms since the 29th, and it's time. So you're with me. Let's go take a look at them and see how things are going. All right, week 12, bin 1. Now, in addition to this being a late start, because I'm doing this late Saturday night, which may still be Friday morning or Friday evening, depending on where you are in the world, you're gonna get all these videos in one day. So I'll be working into the early morning on Sunday to get these out, but let's go ahead and dig in and see how things are looking. Now remember, I put the cardboard, both a mixture of corrugated cardboard that I shredded up and the cardboard slabs on the bottom of the castings in here. So it's gonna be interesting. Let's see. We have condensation, as to be expected. And as you can see, here's the cardboard that was put in place. Castings are still very wet looking. Not nearly as much as they were before I added the corrugated cardboard that I shredded up. A lot of fruit flies. A lot of fruit flies, which tells me they probably haven't done anything with the food that was in here. So let's just quickly first take a look and see how the worms are doing. Praying that they're doing okay. And we do have a nice little grouping of them here. A few in hand. Hope you can see those okay. But, the texture of the castings is still very muddy, and which I expected that to happen to a certain degree. I put the lids back on knowing that it was going to keep the moisture in the bin, more so than not, but I did that on purpose too because I'm trying to keep the bin warm. It's just gotten too cool, and I still need to keep them in the water tubs for just safety concerns, so that still has to remain in place. But I do see worms. Population, in fact, I see, oh my goodness, I see babies. Quite a few actually. Shoot. I had a handful of them right here. I don't know if you can see those or not, guys, but those are smaller sized worms. And that means they definitely are reproducing in here, which is good. yeah, just trying to make sure that they look healthy, and I really am glad that I put this cardboard down at the bottom. It's going to take them a while to work through this. It's going to take a while for it to break down, and I can even feel in the bin that it is warmer than it was even on the outside. Whoops, hang on, let me clear my gun here. Give me just a second. Okay. 74 degrees, while outside right now it's about 64 degrees. So it's, I'm maintaining just about 10 degrees warmer temperatures here in the cold season so far than it is outside. It's banana peel. The real challenge is gonna be when it starts really dropping down into the low 50s. I've got to try to do everything I can to keep these guys as safe as possible. And like I said, I'm probably going to do the same technique with bins 2 and 3, just depending on how things look in there. But right now, I'm just trying to get these guys through the cold season, and I don't see, everything got moved around after I added the bedding, so the food's not going to be right here in the middle. It's going to be spread throughout the materials. Good news is I don't see really a whole lot of materials, but I do see worms throughout all the materials, which is good. But I don't see much of the food, which, if you remember, there was everything from bananas. Bin 1 didn't get any rice, but it did get bananas and banana peels. I'm trying to think if I put anything else in there. I don't think I did. Maybe some brown paper, but that was just to kind of set the table, so to speak, for them. There's not going to be a feeding given this check-in. This really is just kind of a wanting to make sure that the worms are looking good, because I'm not expecting them to really process through foods right now at a high rate as they would like in the hotter season. But they do look good. They look happy. They look healthy. And I'm definitely finding them throughout the bin. I mean, throughout all the bin. The temperature of the bin is good. It's, mid 70s, which is fine for them. The sweet spot for these worms, African night crawlers, I found is right around 75 to 80 degrees. I did a little research because of my concerns over the cold, and what I found from an actual expert down in, I believe it was South Africa, he has seen them tolerate temperatures as low as between 50 and 60 degrees. He says between those temps, they become very, very inactive, and there's a possibility of die-off, but he says they can survive it, just not for really long, prolonged periods of time, which hopefully our cold season started late here compared to last year. Last year it started in October. This year it's only really started here at the beginning of December. Hopefully it doesn't last more than a few months, maybe 2 to 3 months tops, I think will probably be the case. All right, so no food for bin 1, just a quick check of things. Taking a look at the worms, they look good. The castings are still very moist, which is to be expected because of the lid. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let this ride. We're still going to do weekly check-ins because of the temps. If it weren't for the fact that the temperatures are so cold right now, I'd probably just say, you know what, guys, we're going to check these guys out at New Year's in January. But I'm going to definitely need to keep checking them the rest of this year. And if the fruit flies continue to get bad, I may have to come up with a vinegar and soap trap for them. If you've never seen that before, you should check out World Composting with Noel Davis, his channel. He uses a jar in the corner that he kind of nuzzles down into the material, covers it with plastic wrap, pokes some holes in it, and it's a mixture of water, apple cider vinegar, and some soap. Just mix it together. It attracts the fruit flies that get in there and they die, and it's a great way to collect them up. Really simple. But okay, everything looks good. We're going to close this up. Going to let this go another week, and we're going to check in week 13. And I want to thank you guys all for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would, please do like and share it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I hope you would consider doing so. And hit the bell notification icon if you would, so you can be alerted when I upload new content. And wherever you are in this world today or tonight, you take care. Bye for now.